Greetings and welcome to episode 5363 of Photoshop Party. Today we're going to talk about how to fix some of the annoying things in Photoshop by going to your preferences and doing it that way. Preferences can do a whole lot. But before we get into preferences, let's go ahead and share my screen. And hide that. Move this down. Hide zoom. Hide the people on the side. I think I've got it. Can you guys see my screen now?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Here is the time to do our advertisement for West Coast School, June 9th through the 14th. And you can see the top instructor this year is going to be Photoshop 0 to 60 in a week. So you know which class to take. There are going to be a few others if you are well above my pay grade. Scott Detweiler going to be talking about AI portrait photography, leveraging technology. Sharon LaBelle, Karen Nakamura will be doing macro photography and floral compositing. That'll be a fun class. I've done all-day classes with them and total blast. Tim Meyer, back to the fundamentals of lighting and posing. That class is always popular. And new instructor this year, Michelle Pennings, Fine Art Masterpiece Portraits, starting with creation all the way to completion. Pete Rizak, hard light, soft light, window light, strobe light, black and white done right. Can't imagine him doing a black and white class. And then magic marketing with Chris Woolley. So a few good classes if you want to go to school. West Coast School in San Diego is going to be a total blast this year, so you definitely want to go. Okay, so let's close that puppy out and say goodbye to that, and we will go to the latecomers are coming in. There we go. And a little quick trip down memory lane if you don't remember. To get rid of your tools and the layers panel and history panel, all that good stuff, all you have to do is hit the tab key and it gets rid of everything. Hit the tab key again and it comes back. Or you can use the F key when you have an image up on the screen and that'll get rid of it as well. So here we go. Preferences on a Mac. You go to Photoshop, down to preferences. On a PC, you go edit. Preferences is way down at the bottom down here. Or if you can't remember how to find your preferences, just hit Command or Control K. And that'll bring up your preferences for you. Really easy to find. Sometimes it's much faster just to use a keyboard shortcut than it is to go up here. Okay, where did we put that? I don't remember, but that's okay. We're gonna take care of some business then. When you're done with your preferences, you got everything the way you want it, and you click OK, what you want to do is after you click OK is close Photoshop and then reopen it. When you close Photoshop, what that will do is cause the preferences to be saved as your preferences. So for some reason, it just automatically does that. And there are ways to get around it, but that's the simplest way to do it. A couple of things that's new in preferences. If you can't remember where it is in this long list of items on the left-hand side, in the upper right-hand corner, you have search preferences. So if I want to find my type preferences, I hit type, and it brings up all the information about type. File handling, like save as, save to original folder. You click on it and it just highlighted it for me. So it's easy to find. So when you can't remember where it's at in here and you don't want to go click, 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 just go up to your search and type in what you're looking for and it'll happen really good. Okay. Auto show home screen. How many people have the home screen that pops up every time you close your file and you hate the heck out of this? Me personally, this is annoying as all heck. You can clear all these if you want to, or if you go to your preferences, unclick auto show home screen, and it will be gone the next time you play. So, in fact, it should have been gone now, but it's not. Okay, don't go away then. The new document interface. Some people like the old new document, the old new document. That makes sense, doesn't it? Use legacy new document, which is the old one. Okay, we'll click that. I'll hit Command N, which is new, and you get this little square with all the stuff on there. I actually have become a great fan of the new document interface. So I'm going to click it in, and when I hit Command New, it brings up all these customs and things that I've done before. The most recent is the one that pops up. It also will have you, when you have something saved in the clipboard, like a picture from the internet, you can go into here and it'll say, use clipboard, and it'll size it exactly what you have. You can also do different things and templates that Photoshop already has for you. They have them made up for whatever size you need, iPhone X, etc. Film and video if you want to do that. It even has, I was playing with this one yesterday. Open that. And you can preload a magazine and change things around to make it look how you want it. It has all the layers and marked up for you so you know where to find everything. Really cool. I like that. I've started using that.
No, where is that?
Okay, that one is in the new document. So if you hit Command N or Control N, or if you go up to File, New, it brings it up there. You have some of the stuff here at the bottom, or you can, if you've saved it already and used it before, then it's going to show up there as well. It's at the bottom of that. That's pretty cool because you got some templates in there you can play with. Art and illustration. You've got a few templates to play with in there. So I like the old version of that. Okay. Back to preferences. Use legacy free transform. I haven't used that in so long. I forget what the difference was. Oh, I remember. You had to hold the shift key down when you're doing a free transformation. So when you hold the shift key, it keeps it constrained. Now it's constrained just doing normal, which it should have been in the very beginning, but they didn't do it that way. And I don't know why. And people got upset when they changed it to a common sense way to do it. So export clipboard. When you save something to your clipboard or do a copy, it's going to export it. So if you go into, say, Word and you want to paste what you just copied into Word, it exports it from Photoshop. So those are the big things. Always create smart objects when placing. I think I'm going to click that one off because when I place it into Photoshop, I don't need it to be a smart object. If I want it to be a smart object, I can put it in there, but I don't want that. So I'm changing that. Auto show home screen, we talked about that. Let's go to interface. This is pretty cool. You can change the color of your background depending on if you like light, dark, or whatever. You can also play around a little bit, click on it, and make the colors that you want. You notice I have coffee cups there. This is kind of a Easter egg in Photoshop. And to get there, all you do is hold Command or Control, Alt or Option, and Shift. So basically the left side of the keyboard, and then you can do coffee, regular, or do your toast. So if you want dark toast, really dark toast, or white bread, you can do it that way. Let's go back to normal. And then this is probably the biggest thing that they brought up a few years ago, is the highlight color. So default, let me save that and let me bring in an image. So we'll go to File, Open Recent, and make a few copies, Command J. And you can see what layer you're on there. But if you go into your preferences, go to interface and change it from default, which is the gray, to blue, to me that stands out a little bit more. And I like having the blue there so I can see it. That's just one of my preferences that I really like. It's up to you how you want to do it. When I'm working at home, I usually work in the medium dark setting, so everything pops out a little bit better. If I'm teaching, normally I'm in the light gray, sometimes the bright, so it can be seen really easy. And other than that, no big deal for in interface. Workspace. I don't think I've really changed anything in Workspace. Everything's just kind of the default. I do have large tabs, which is up here to show what's open, the large tabs. I do large just about everything. I'm kind of an antique flatulent, so I need to be able to see things a lot easier. Large tabs makes it easier to see for me. Tools. If you're going crazy and you want to know what the keyboard shortcut is for something, we're going to say show tooltips, click OK. And then when I hover over a tool, it gives me magic wand tool, W, crop tool, C for crop. It tells you what the tools are. Once you're smart enough to know your basic keyboard shortcuts, you could turn those off. You have the rich tooltips. A lot of people have asked me, well, how do I get rid of that? Let me show you what it is to start with. The crop tool. This is the rich tooltip. And what it does, it shows you basically how the tool works. A lot of times it will automatically start showing up and what it does. But if you want a quick lesson on it, you just go into watch quick video, and Aaron Nace will tell you all about it. And if you don't watch Aaron Nace on YouTube, he is one of the instructors that you do want to watch. So I have seen just about all those videos, so I will unclick show rich tooltips, unclick tooltips. Don't need them. If you are a keyboard shortcut kind of person, I use keyboard shortcuts all the time. If I want to go through the various tools, such as the magic wand, quick selection, and select object tool, use the shift key for tool search. So what you do, it's clicked, and right now it's set to magic wand. If I hold the shift key and push W, you can see that it switches the tools as I push the key. So if I just hold the key down and keep clicking the W key, nothing happens. But if I hold the shift key, I can switch between the tools. So for me, that's pretty cool. I like doing that. Saves me a lot of time. Other things in here, spring-loaded tool shortcuts. If you do the spring-loaded tool shortcuts, such as, I'm going to click out of this for a second, go into here. I hit Z for zoom. I'm holding the zoom key down, and I go around the QR code at the upper right, let go, it spring loaded back to my magic wand tool. And what happens is every time you do that, so let's go to Z for zoom. I'm going to hold the option key, back out, get there, let go, and it's back in the magic wand tool. It's really cool, except Command K, tools. If this number on the spring-loaded tool shortcuts is set really low, which the default for Photoshop is when it shipped in the last shipment, what happens is you hold the shift key, or you don't do anything, you just hit the Z for zoom, and it acts like a spring-loaded tool. No, I want the zoom tool. And I hit the Z again. I have to go all the way back over here to the toolbar and hit it. I think it was set to 199. So if you hold it for 199 milliseconds, which is like no time at all, it's going to act spring loaded. So you just raise the number up over 600. I got it at 694. You can slide this back and forth if you want to get the number you want. So I'm over 600. I'm happy. So when I hit the zoom key and hold it, it works. If I just want to tap the zoom key to get the zoom tool, then I have that happen for me. So that works really cool. Zoom with the scroll wheel, I don't do that with mine. It depends on your preferences. That's why they call this preferences. I've got it turned off. Animated zoom, I don't even know what an animated zoom does. So moving down to history. Nothing changed here. None and none. I don't use the metadata for history up there. So what you can do is leave that as default, no big deal. File handling. Probably the biggest thing is automatically save recovery information the default is 10 minutes. If you are fast at Photoshop, if you are Dennis Hammond and you're using Photoshop quickly, doing a lot of changes, you might want to set your default from 10 down to 5. If you're very, very slow, you could probably make it longer. If you're working with huge files, every 10 minutes might be enough. But 5 minutes, it automatically backs up in the background. You don't hardly see it at all, and you're okay. If you've been having trouble with Save As, let me click OK, and we'll go Command-Shift-S, which is Save As. And I want to save it down here. I want to save it as a JPEG. It does not allow me to save as a JPEG. This was a way for Photoshop to make it safe so you didn't screw it up. If you enable Legacy Save As right up here, you can go back to the old way of doing it by hitting Command-Shift-S or File, Save As up here, and it's going to save the old-fashioned way. So if I click OK now, Command-Shift-S, all of my formats are available. And before you ask the question, no, you cannot delete any of the formats out of there. Like JPEG stereo, JPEG 2000, multi-picture format, I have never, ever, ever, ever used. So hit cancel, Command K, back to file handling, enable Legacy Save As, you get all your tools there. Camera raw preferences, nothing big to see there. Export, I don't export, so I do a save as instead of exporting. Performance. Here you go. TJ, history states. Mine is set to 25 right now, and it changes every time I do a class on preferences, it changes. 25 is plenty for me. I don't need 50, which I think is the default. cache levels 4. I don't know how much of a difference the cache levels make. That's just the default number. And then here's where you can get a little bit more speed out of your computer by hitting let Photoshop use so much. I keep it at 70%. So you can make it more, you can make it less. If you take it down to 20%, you're going to see a marked slowing in Photoshop. It's going to take up less memory. Bring it back up to 70. Good. Use graphic processor. That's automatic. Sometimes if that's unclicked, certain filters won't work. So you want to make sure you have use graphic processor clicked. Image processing. This is the big one. This is worth the price of admission alone. Select subject processing. Right now, my default is set to cloud. The default for Photoshop is actually working on the device. So working on the device, you get much quicker results. I don't care. I want the detailed results. And if you ever do a test between device and cloud, you will see that the cloud will give you some serious better results in selecting a subject. So you definitely want to use the cloud. It will take about 2 seconds longer. So it takes forever, that whole 2 seconds while you're waiting. You definitely want it. Everything else is default. Scratch disk, for some reason, it's not reading my backup disk on here. I got to figure out why it's not. But if you have a chance to use scratch disk, it speeds up processing as well. Cursors. This is all preference. I use normal brush tip. If you're using your paintbrush and all of a sudden, let's hit OK, do B for brush. This is my default right now. If I hit the cap lock, you will see that all I get is crosshairs. And a lot of people go, my brush is missing, my brush is missing. No, undo your cap lock, you get your brush back. I've seen them where they shut down Photoshop, reboot, same thing again, shut down the computer, and it works fine because the cap lock key has been turned off. But also what will happen with your brush when you get too big, come on, get too big. Now all you have is your crosshairs. My cap lock key is not selected. If it was, it wouldn't change. It's just that the brush is too big for the picture, so you don't see it. All you see is your crosshairs. So when you make it smaller by holding the left bracket key, come on, you can do it. You can do it. There we go. Now you see the difference. So back to there. Cursors. Nothing big in there other than that. Transparency and gamut. Some people hate the checkerboard. They say it drives them crazy seeing a checkerboard. Cool. Go up here to grid size, click none. Your checkerboard is gone. Everybody's happy. I like the checkerboard because it shows me on that layer I've got nothing there. So if you want to change the colors of your checkerboard, just click on the boxes and you can change the colors. So I can make that red. Oh no, don't like, cancel. So all that good stuff you can change there. Cancel, goodbye. Units and rulers. My rulers are set to inches. You can change it from pixels, inches, centimeters, millimeters, points, picas, or percent. Sometimes when you're making actions, you want to use percent because I want to put my logo in the bottom right corner at say 75% on the bottom. So if you have your ruler set to percent, it automatically does that for you. If you're using inches, which is my normal standard, if you have a larger file, 3 inches is not the same as 20 inches. So you have to work with that. And then type, I use points. You can use pixels, millimeter, but I've always been brought up in points since I was on WordPerfect with the dual floppy drives way back when. That shows you how old I am. And then other than that, you can set your print resolution on new documents, automatically go to 300, screen resolution at 72. That's automatic, so I leave it where it is. Guides, you can change your guides. So when I do a guide, if I want to have a broken line, have a broken line. I can also change the color from cyan to whatever. For me, cyan's been the color that I've always used ever since I started in Photoshop. So that's what I do. Nothing spectacular there to see. Plugins, no big deal. And then type tool. This is where a lot of people like to have a fight. Number one, default is use escape key to commit the text. So if you type something in there and go, oops, I didn't want that, and you hit the escape key, it locks it in. If you uncheck that, you hit the escape key, it goes away. And for me, common sense is you hit the escape key to make it go away. I mean, that's just simple as can be, right? So unclick, use escape key to commit text. Smart quotes, I don't even know what those are. And then use fill new type layers with placeholder text. I will show you what that does. Let's go ahead and fill that with white, and we're going to type in there, T for type. Draw a box where I want this and change that from white to, let's do red just for fun. And it puts what's called lorem ipsum in there. A lot of people don't like that because it drives them crazy. I love it. It tells me, number one, what font I'm using. Number two, it tells me if I'm in regular or bold, and it tells me the size. Let's go to 24. So when you first open it up, it will tell you exactly what you're working with. And that's the best thing for me. It tells me what's going to fit in there, how the font looks before I even start typing. And if you're worried, well, I got to get rid of all that lorem ipsum stuff. No, just start typing. Mike is almost smart. S-A-M-R-T. So, yeah, right. Okay. I hear the snickering, even though you guys are muted. Yes, Bruce, I hear you. Back to type. So that's all personal preference. I like it. I want to keep it. Up in the top on your font tool, it says number of recent fonts to display. Okay, if I go to 15, click OK, go to my font tool, it will show 15 of the most recent fonts. It only shows 10 because 15, going back 15, it's already gotten rid of the other ones. So if I do this, Command K, down to type, go to 5, now we go to our font tool, and it's showing me more. That's weird. Should be 5. Maybe it will come in after reset. I don't know. After I restart the computer. But it should only show me 5 instead of 10. And type tool. Let's go back to 15 again. Click OK. And I'm not going to talk about 3D. I'm not going to talk about enhanced the touch bars for Mac. This doesn't, I don't have a touch bar keyboard, so it doesn't matter. I have it on my laptop. Technology previews. Nothing there. And then product improvement page. Yes, I'll participate. And I'm not giving Adobe permission to use my files for the AI. So.
Hey, Mike, can you go back to technology previews? Mine is not checked for precise color management for HDR display, but yours is.
Okay.
Why?
I'm clueless.
Oh,
I'll be honest with you. I'm clueless on that one.
okay. Well, mine's on default, so that's probably something you changed or you don't know.
I do not know. I may have changed it.
Okay.
I don't do a whole lot of HDR, so I've
Okay.
never really paid attention to that.
Okay. Thank you.
There's a learn more down here. Let's see if it tells anything about it.
Did Sam have lunch?
Yeah, what you can do is go down to the bottom on learn more, and hopefully it'll tell you about it.
Okay, thanks.
But to be honest with you, I do not know.
Okay.
Any other questions on what we've covered? Okay, a couple of other things, just gee whiz you. You can see the size of my thumbnails on the layers panel. When Photoshop ships, we'll go to panel options. When Photoshop ships, this is the size of your thumbnails. And like I said, I like everything big. So I go here to panel options, click on the drop-down menu, click big. I do the entire document, so it shows me where it is in the document. You can do layer bounds, and we'll click OK. And then on this layer, we'll add a brush. Let me see if that, oh, that's because I made a huge layer there, so it's fine. Sometimes if you have a smaller image come in, like let's do Command T on that one. And we will.
Mike, what did you do to get to that? To change the size?
Give me 1 second. Okay, you can see the size of my image right there. And we'll go to the drop-down menu right here on the layers panel. Click on the pancakes up there. Click panel options.
Oh, I see it. Mine's not in the same place as yours, so
Okay.
I found it. Thank you.
And when I do layer bounds, it should make a very small, just showing what that layer is, which is weird. Normally it would make a difference in there, but it's not. So panel options, go back to entire document. There it is. Okay. You can see now that it's checkerboard except for that little small speck in the middle. It shows me where it's at. And if you do a command click on the thumbnail right there, it makes a selection of whatever's in that layer. Command D to deselect. Okay, you probably have your layers panel over on the left-hand side, Terry?
No, it's on the right, but it's lower than yours.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just have super cleaned up, nothing there. All my stuff is in panels right there. So any questions on what we covered today? Going once, going twice.
Well, Mike, I was just going to comment after they get that all set up to make sure they go up their window and set, make sure they set everything like they want to do in case they have to come back. You might want to go into that.
Right. With the preferences, when you get your preferences all set up, you want to close Photoshop and you want to reboot. When you close it, it puts your preferences in a preferences folder and says, here you go, we're saving it for you. If you start playing with your computer, and you do this because you're having so much fun and you like making a mess, because I love making a mess on my desktop here. And then you go, oh God, I can't see my thing anymore. Well, instead of going and closing or minimizing all of these, which is a pain in tush, what you can do is, we'll show you how to save your thing, but what I'll do is go to Window, Workspace, Reset Mics. And then I'm back to where I started. Once you get your desktop set up how you like it, I guess this is sort of a preference, so we can do that. What you can do is go to Workspace, New Workspace. We'll call this PS Party. And I'm going to save my keyboard shortcuts, my menus, my toolbar. So it's all in the same spot no matter what. Hit save. So if I screw it up and everything is gone, what I can do is go up to Window, Workspace, Reset Party, and it puts it back where it was. Or what I could do is I can go to mics, because it's the same thing, and set it back to mics again.
In addition to that, Mike, I always like to put a date on mine. So if I go back and it's been too long or changes, so I can go back and see when that was. So behind mine, I actually put a date behind mine, so I know when it was done.
Yeah, you can see that I've saved it once or twice. Because how it ships, this is default Photoshop with everything under the sun in there. I changed it how I liked it and then went to save New Workspace. So I can go up here to Photoshop Party, which is the one we did, and go to Workspace. We're in Photoshop Party. I'm going to click Delete Workspace. It's going to say, which one do you want to delete? And it won't let me delete Photoshop Party, but it will let me delete Mics 2. So we'll delete that one. Do you really want to delete it? Not really, but I will. And now Mics 2 is out of the presets up there. So you definitely want to save your particular one, because that's how you work and you like it that way. So thank you for bringing that up, Dennis.
Mike, can I ask a question?
No,
Oh, okay.
you didn't say please, Sandra.
Please may I ask a question?
Mother, may I?
Mother, may I?
Yes, you may.
I've been having some weird things happen when I have the document and then I bring another image into it that I'm going to move around. And when I start to make it a little bigger, it just goes crazy. It just phew, like that. And I don't know, is there a setting that I've goofed up on?
Are you moving it with the move tool or transforming it?
I'm transforming it.
Huh, okay, let me go to bridge.
But I do like the sound that comes with that. Pew!
Okay, here we go. Place. When I did place before, my Photoshop was missing, and I don't know what happened when I updated bridge. So I had to reset bridge altogether and go in and reset my settings again. So we're going to place it in Photoshop. There we go. And we'll go Command T to free transform. And are you wanting to move it or you want to resize it, or both?
So I started to move it and then I said, oh, I wanted to make it a little larger. So I pulled up in the upper right-hand corner and it just out of the picture. Yeah, not like that. It just was almost like
It just jumped on you, huh?
Yes, yeah. It all of a sudden it went outside of where I was at.
I have never had that happen to me.
Okay, I thought maybe I had clicked something somewhere that,
Have you rebooted Photoshop or even your computer recently?
I've been updated.
Okay. Maybe reboot your computer as well. Shut everything down, start all over again,
Okay,
and see if that helps.
okay. It's
I
just,
don't,
it's
I
crazy.
don't know.
I don't know either. I thought maybe it had to do with maybe I was supposed to hold the shift key. You know, like they change things. I know if you hold the alt key, then it goes in conjunction with where you're pulling it. In other words, if you want to make it like that and you hold the alt key, it'll stay there, but it'll enlarge itself.
It'll constrain it based
Yeah,
on this dot right here. Let me
right.
move this. So if I put the dot up there,
Will that do?
and then if I rotate it,
Uh,
see it rotates on that
yeah,
dot.
right. Yeah, okay. That's not what it's doing. It's just,
And if I hold the
it's
alt
crazy.
key, it all constrains to this dot. So if
Yeah,
it's in the middle,
yeah.
let me place it back in the middle. There we go. Yeah, it just,
Yeah,
and if I hold the shift key,
yeah,
it
probably it
unconstrained.
distorts it, yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
if you're missing that dot in the middle, this little dot right here,
Uh-huh.
up in the upper left-hand side, you can turn it on and off.
Oh, okay, well, I'll check that out.
I think it ships, a couple of versions ago, it shipped with the checkbox off. And I had to find the dot and it was
Oh,
not there, and I had to find a tutorial on it. Say, where are you?
Where is
Oh.
it now?
It's in the upper, when you're in the
okay.
transform tool, the toolbar in the upper left, right up. I don't know if you can see my cursor. or
Yep,
not.
got it, got it.
I can point to it as well. Here, I'm pointing to it. Can you see it now? It didn't ship with it for some reason, and I don't know why
Oh.
they did that.
Well, maybe that's what it's doing. I didn't think about that. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Other questions?
I have a similar question.
Okay.
So sometimes when I'm pasting something in, say I'm putting a cow in front of a barn, and I paste the cow in, the cow is giant, like the transform square on it. The cow is giant, where normally it just pastes in. What am I doing wrong?
Okay. You're probably working with two different file sizes.
Okay.
So when it does that, let's make this smaller, Command T, and we'll make that super huge. Click OK, Command 0. So this covers up, so say the Venmo thing is the cow, and
Mhm.
it's super huge, so you go Command T to make it smaller. You
Right.
can see your dot here,
Mm.
but your anchor points are on the outside. You can't see them. Just
Yeah.
just hit Command 0 or Control 0, and that brings
Oh.
up your anchor points, and you can find them and bring them back down again.
Okay.
If this was a 300 DPI file or PPI file that I brought in, and this is a 72 PPI file,
Mhm.
it would be huge compared to the one below. So it would make it bigger. So it's probably your file sizes that are different.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think just the Control Z will fix it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Control T, and you can find your handles and bring them in.
Okay, so I've been following you on Photoshop, and for some reason my Command T button isn't working.
Command T is not working.
No.
Okay. So if we go to Edit, Keyboard Shortcuts,
Mhm.
Let's go to Layer. Oh, it's under Edit. I'm sorry. I'm so used to using keyboard shortcuts that I don't know where to find things. Content aware, free transform. You should be able to have your keyboard shortcut under free transform for that. So if you go up to Edit, to free transform, does it have a keyboard shortcut next to it?
Let me see. Let's see.
And if it doesn't, we can fix that on the side.
It does, but it's gray for some reason, and I don't know why. Maybe it has something to do with the picture I have up here. I don't know.
Okay, if you don't have, let's turn this layer off, do edit. Free transform is grayed out because I only have one layer. The background layer can't be transformed.
Mhm.
If I turn it into a regular layer and do that, then I can go do the transformations. But the keyboard shortcut should, if you have a second layer up there, it should work on that layer.
Let's see. For some reason it's gray, but I'll work on it. It must be something I'm doing wrong
We
on
can-
this.
We can
Yeah.
do a Zoom separately and we'll get you fixed. Any other questions out there?
Hey, Mike, isn't there a setting in the preferences to automatically adjust file size when you're pasting into a file? I don't know if that would solve the problem she was having or not. Again, it seems to me I saw it somewhere and I can't remember where. File handling possibly.
Render optimize levels. I don't know, to be
I
honest
got
with
it to
you.
work.
Good.
So something I was
Fantastic.
doing wrong. I don't know what, but who knows?
I know I saw it somewhere. There's something about it
Something
somewhere.
I'll have to review and see if I can find that. I'm not sure off the top of my head. Anything else? Going once? Going twice? And we will